Alright, hello, and welcome to the Source Gaming 10th Anniversary, Episode 100 Good Morning Source Gaming stream! It's a very special one today, and I'm very appreciative of having all of you here with me. So, not just you though, of course, we do have some special guests, and the first one of these joining me right now, we have PushDustIn. Hello! Hey. How's it going? 10 whole years. How time flies. Yeah. For sure. Oh, can it not? Interesting. Right, let me change that. I was about to ask audio stuff. Right, let's... It might be because I swapped what headset I was using, so it might be picking up the wrong one. Let me... great start. Where are we going? Where are we going? It's been so long since I've done this, so I'm like trying to remember where everything is. Okay, let's... Alright. Push, can you speak now? I haven't seen anything come up. Let me try a different one. Alright, try now. Come on, you... Wait, what's going on?
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I
I think you're coming in now. I think you're coming in. For some bizarre reason, I had like 3 devices all listed for my headphones on here, and I had to find the one, the one that XSplit recognized as the as the one that you're on, I guess. Bizarre. Anyway, pretend you didn't just re-say what you said a moment ago.
Happy birthday, Source Gaming! I can't believe it's been 10 years. Like I really feel like the old man, Steve Rogers.
And yeah, it's a big year because obviously every year is a big year, but 10 is like the first double-digit number. It's a special occasion.
Yeah.
And it's just wild to think that it's been going for that long. I haven't been here for the full 10 years, obviously, but I have been here for like 8 or 9, something like that. Like I wasn't very long after Source Gaming started. So it's just wild to think that it's been going. But in this episode, all right. But in this episode of Good Morning Source Gaming, right now it's just Push and I. I know it's quite early for a lot of people in America, but it's quite late for those of you in Japan. So
yeah.
we're doing this one slightly differently. So Push is here with me, and then over the course of the episode, we're gonna have Kody and Snazzy and Liquid all sort of join in, getting a lot of the old cast members in here, the ones who have been with us since the early days. And as you can see, Voyager's also in the chat. Shadowlink's in the chat. Nerbion said he might show up as well at some point if he can. He was hoping to join. Him and Triss were hoping to join this call as well, but circumstances get in the way. But fingers crossed, they get a moment to pop their heads into the the stream chat. And if everyone can let me know how things are audio wise, how things are stream quality wise. For those who don't know, I have been in Japan for the last like 7 weeks. And I am like literally just got back home yesterday evening at 7. And I've had a hell of a journey. I was telling Push while we were waiting that my car broke down yesterday, so that was fun. That was much needed after a 18-hour flight back from Japan. Great
Yeah.
stuff. So I am thoroughly tired. I'm definitely going to take a nap after this stream is done. But needed to be here to kick off the week of celebrations that we have for Source Gaming. So I have accidentally closed it. But we have a schedule of stuff that's going to happen this week, and I thought I'd go through it now quickly before we start actually just having the episode of Good Morning Source Gaming.
Oh, and Liquid and Cody are in the call now.
Oh, they are.
Hi.
Hello. Hey,
Hello.
Cody. Hey, Liquid. How you both doing?
Oh, it's been busy. I've been saddled with much more responsibilities in life and work, and now I'm about to start I'm just about applying for a master's, so
Oh, damn. Nice.
Oh wow.
life's getting busy.
What's the master's in?
Information technology.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Oh,
hope that
nice.
goes well. How have things been on your end, Cody? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been working on finishing up the demo for my game finally. It's been a while, a few years since I started working on it, and now we've gotten to a point where we finally have like all the battle mechanics down, and now we're finally going to be able to put something out there for people to play with it.
Nice. Awesome.
That's awesome. Is the demo already out?
It's not out yet, but it will be by the end of the year.
Okay.
Nice. Awesome. I'll look forward to it. Maybe we can stream it.
Yeah.
Maybe some
I'll have
conflict of
to
interest there,
I'll have to
but
share
we'll
a
see.
build with you guys to try out when we're testing the demo.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, to quickly go over then, as I said a moment ago, what the plan is for this week. So, we got episode 100 of Good Morning Source Gaming happening right now. And then tomorrow, we will have a video on the channel that is a recreation of Source Gaming's first ever article. Which is... Push, I guess this is an article that you wrote that Phantom is making the video for. Do you want to very quickly share what it was about?
Yeah, like the very first article of Source Gaming was actually not Smash Brothers related at all. It was about Twilight Princess. And initially, like when I started Source Gaming, I was thinking I would just kind of do it like in my free time. Like, but I think I literally like went to like a local coffee shop, and I originally wrote out that article on a piece of paper, like just like on a weekend one day, because I was just like, oh, I just need to start I want to start blogging. I want to start doing stuff, and so that was just something that seemed really easy and really able to complete within a certain amount of time. And so that was like the first piece. It wasn't like the first one I wanted to write, but it was something that I thought about a lot.
So we'll be getting a video of that up on the Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday we don't have anything specifically around the anniversary. There will be some articles going live on the website, but nothing stream or video related. But on Thursday we have a very fun little stream planned. For those who have been asking to see Rate That Character come back, it's not, but we will be doing a little like live commentary about it. There'll be Phantom and I for sure, and then some other members of the team who have stuff they would like to say about some of the episodes. We'll be going through some of our most controversial episodes, like the Daisy one and the Shadow one and Pauline, etc. And just talking about a bit more about our thoughts on Mindspace at the time, why we were right for a lot of them. And yeah, I think that'll be a fun one. Then on Friday, Shadowlink is taking over to do the next Driving Wheel Legend of Zelda stream. For those who don't know, they've previously done, I believe, Twilight Princess... Was Ocarina of Time the first one? Was it like Ocarina of Time and then Twilight Princess was the second one? Slink, feel free to correct me. It's been a while. But they'll be doing the next one with Link's crossbow training, which sounds like it'll be a nightmare with the steering wheel, so I can't wait to watch. And then 100% of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So then on next Saturday will be the next roster stream. This one is going to be all about Sega Superstars and what it would be like if Sega made a fighting game, like a platform fighting game based around all their IP. The next in the Sega All-Stars lineup. So that'll be good. Then on Sunday, to wrap it all off, we have a very special Straight from the Source, our interview series. This will be a video, and it's actually going to be the first of a new series of videos that we'll be doing called Straight from the Source, which those who have been following us for some time, especially on the website, will know this is like what we call our interviews, where we interview industry people, voice actors, etc. We'll be doing that as a more recurring feature on the channel going forward, especially on the video side. And the first one of those will be going live next Sunday, this time next week. So look forward to that. And yeah, I think that wraps up like what to expect from this week. Obviously, stay tuned to our social medias on X, on Facebook, and on Blue Sky and Discord, and you'll be able to catch everything as it happens. Right, with that all out of the way, let's actually get into this episode. And as always with Good Morning Source Gaming, we always start with what we've been up to, what we've been playing recently. And it'll be interesting to hear who out of us has had any time to play video games, because it sounds like we've all been quite busy recently. But why don't we go from left to right on my screen? So Liquid, why don't you start? What have you been up to recently, gaming-wise?
Oh, just before that, Spazzy just joined, so
really?
Let's just say hi.
Hey, Spazzy.
Yeah. Why I'm joining? I just saw myself tagged, and I'm always okay. I'll join.
You have been tagged many a time this week.
Hey man, what's up? What are we doing? What's going on?
It is
the 100th episode.
Yep.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, this time it's the 10th anniversary as well. You have been tagged in this several times now.
Hey man. I think as is tradition, I show up considerably late, not really knowing what's going on. So I think that tracks.
It's the Alzheimer's kicking in.
Sorry, guys. As the person closest to Generation X, because I'm that old. I'm not. I'm still a millennial. It's screwed. I think I have the right to say that maybe I'm having maybe I need to be replaced, man. I think I have been. Who's with my Kamala Harris? I don't know. I'm having bad debates now. Sorry to get political.
Well, you're
gonna get the video demonetized.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Causing controversies on our birthday. How could you? All right. Let's All right. Anyway, so Liquid, what have you been up to recently?
As far as gaming, mostly been chipping away at stuff I bought during the Steam Summer Sale. Just trying to get that out of the way before going to anything new. So like Black Mesa, RoboCop, RZ. Things I wanted to play for a while, but didn't really get around to doing. But yeah, you can't argue with a good discount now, can you?
No, not at all. That's why my Steam library is like so chock full of games that I don't know if I'm ever going to get a chance to play. It's the problem, but if the deals are that good, you can't resist. You might one day get the itch, right?
Yep.
How are you finding Arzest?
At the same time, you're not lacking in options when you do get that opportunity, even if your library's bloated.
Mm-hmm. How are you finding Arzest?
I'm obviously I'm a bit biased because I've been in that CDI YouTube poop mindset for a while now, so I was kind of drawn to the game despite that, so because of that mostly. But honestly, on its own merits, it's quite fun actually. Like even though like it's kind of a deliberate remake of like what are objectively some of the worst games of all time, but like it stands fine on its own.
See, the CDI games are pretty bad, but have you played the remaster that the Arzest guy made? Like of the remaster of the CDI games, they're actually pretty fun. I think I would argue the Zelda Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil.
Fan games and ROM hacks are the purest form of fan love for something, and they're great. They're just great. I've been playing a lot of ROM hacks recently. But anyways, other people talk.
Yeah.
I also wanted to check my mic. I moved over to a different mic. So
yeah, this is
I still sound all right?
Mic. Yeah, this is way better than you were a minute ago.
Yeah, way better than me waking up, getting a coffee, and being all like, why isn't Tenjex tagging me for something? Let me see. Okay, cool.
Sorry,
Liquid, you were saying?
Oh no, that was basically into the sentence. Like
okay.
Like it's building on like the legacy of the quote unquote legacy, for better or worse, and like some of those notoriously awful games, and like it builds on that, but like gives it its own like unironic charm, I suppose. I'm trying to find the right word for it, but like it takes what we consider awful about those games and makes it good somehow, like the awkward animation, the overacted dialogue, stuff like that. I haven't gotten to the end yet, but like from what I've seen, it's like, yeah, you take that stuff that was considered like crap and turn it into like enjoyable, like ironic crap. I'm trying to find the right words for it.
Yeah, I think I get the sentiment. I get what you're trying to say. All right, so Kody, what have you been playing recently?
I've actually been playing through a ROM hack of Pokemon X recently. The original Pokemon X is a very easy game, but I've been playing a more difficult version of it because I really wanted to replay the game at some point before Legend ZA comes out.
Yeah, refamiliarize yourself with Kalos.
Exactly, yeah.
What does the hack do? Is it just like a difficulty hack, or does it change anything else?
It's basically it's more difficult, and it allows you to catch a lot more different types of Pokemon in the game. So yeah, it's a little bit more. It fleshes the game out a little bit more, and then also is more difficult.
Nice. I'm familiar with the like Game Boy Advance and pre-GBA hacking scene for Pokemon. Like it's super common. The tools are really easy. But anything beyond that, like DS and especially in the 3D era, I've not really heard anything from.
Yeah, there's a big scene for it out there. Actually, there's even a scene for specifically Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl ROM hacking. Surprisingly,
wow. I actually got them games recently when I was in Japan. Not both of them, Shining Pearl specifically. They're like ridiculously cheap out there. Like I picked up my copy for about $9, like new.
Whoa, that's great.
Yeah, I'm debating what I want to do with it. Like, should I stream it? I've kind of always wanted to do a Wonder Trade playthrough. One where you can only use Pokemon you get through the Wonder Trade. I think that would be quite fun, but you run the risk of like getting nothing but Bidoof.
Yeah, that's true.
6 Bidoof in a row. I think that might be a fun thing to stream at some point.
Yeah, that would be fun.
If I do just keep getting Bidoofs, I might have to add a new rule of some kind. But I think because I found with Pokemon, I really enjoyed Sword and Shield, and I've just really struggled to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think a big reason for that was with Sword and Shield, I was streaming it. Like all the most of the episodes, I think there's one that's missing because I was doing this on Twitch. I think are all on the Source Gaming Archive channel. But like streaming it and like pacing myself like that, I think I enjoyed it a lot more. Whereas Scarlet and Violet, I don't know, I got most of the way through it, and then I say most of the way through. I think I got like 5 or 6 gyms through it, and then I just kind of didn't stopped having fun with it. And I can't tell how much of it is how I played it, or just the open worldness of it wasn't very good, or I'm just growing out of Pokemon. I'm not 100% sure how to feel. I mean, that also might have helped Voyager. Sword and Shield being based on the UK may have made me a little more biased to play through it and enjoy it. Alright, Push, what have you been up? What have you been playing recently?
Besides the various projects that I've working on, recently I picked up Feed the Deep, which is like a game by Luke Muscat, who worked on like Jetpack Joyride and Fruit Ninja back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It like just came out this morning.
Oh wow!
And it's like a Lovecraftian roguelike game where you're like going into the depths of the water, trying to like pick up treasures and stuff and bring them back up and feed this monster that lives under the sea. It's really cool. And then after that, I've also been playing some Civilization 6 because the next Civ is going to be announced soon. So trying to get some additional leader playthroughs before that drops.
Nice. For that Feed the Deep one, what sort of game, like, it's a roguelike, but is it like a first person, a side on? Is it like top down, like Binding of Isaac? Like, has it? I've never heard of it before, so.
It's you know, how do I say, 2D third person. So you're just you're diving with the character just going down, and you have different items that you can use like bombs and things that will give you speed boosts and stuff like that. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I'll have to check it out. I played Sunken City. I think that was the last Lovecraftian style game I played, and those always have a really cool atmosphere about them. So is it on Steam?
Yeah, it just released on Steam.
Okay, nice. Snazzy, what about you? What have you been playing?
Games and stuff.
Yeah.
One game that I played through a little while ago, but it's been a while since I've been on here, and I have revisited a couple times. Is a fan game called Castlevania Revamped, which is amazing. I'd love to actually just stream it for Source Gaming now that I'm thinking about it, because it's so much fun, and I think all of you and everyone in the world should play it, whether or not you even like Castlevania, just because if I like something enough, I feel other people should like it equally as much. But it's a reimagining of Castlevania 1, and it's very much in that 8-bit style, like most fan games, even though it emulates that style, it's going to go above the capabilities of something like an NES, clearly. But it's that presentation, right? And it uses a lot of the sprites from the first game. But it reimagines Castlevania 1 as a Metroidvania.
Oh,
so,
cool.
You're going through the castle. It has all of the areas where you would expect them from how the map is set up in Castlevania 1, but it also includes the areas redone as 8-bit areas from Castlevania Chronicles and some other Castlevania game areas in it as well. And what's super cool about it is that it leans more towards Metroid as an inspiration than what you would see out of like the Igarashi Castlevania games. Where it doesn't have those RPG elements, so you're not leveling up and you're not finding equipable equipment, which I think are kind of hallmarks of those games. It's more like everything you find is like an upgrade for your whip, or an upgrade that lets you use your whip in 8 directions, or lets you slide under things, or lets you do a midair dash, like things like that. So and all your power, like health power-ups, are things you find hidden in the castle. So in that way, it actually feels more like Metroid than it would Castlevania. It's really, really good. Like it's one of those fan games where you play it and you're like, man, if they gave this a different skin, they could release it and sell it and people would buy it. But it works so well as a Castlevania game. Like it has the Castlevania enemies, Castlevania, and it even has like a card system where you can use the money you get to buy cards that'll give you certain upgrades and abilities, and that's it's super cool. Like I highly recommend it.
I guess my question for that is, does it, how, from a game feel perspective, does it feel like Castlevania 1? Like, is the jump really awkward and stuff like that?
I was about to say yes and no. It feels like it, but like, you know, you can change direction in midair. It feels like a more refined version of it. It's kind of like in Castlevania Rebirth, where they gave you that option of classic controls or less shitty controls, or they do that in the Resident Evil remakes, the remasters too. That would come out before the remakes, when they'd be like, here's Castlevania 2 on your GameCube or whatever, or your PS3. Where it's reminiscent of it, but, and especially as you go on, because like one of the first upgrades you get is the 8-directional whip, like Castlevania 4. So you start off with just being able to whip, and you can also, even though it's 8-bit Castlevania, you can also do the Super Castlevania crawl, where you're crawling forward and whipping straight. So it evokes it without actually feeling like a dated, clunky game from 1987.
This is a kind of a random question, but do you know any like good multiplayer Castlevania-like games?
Castlevania-like games? Well,
yeah,
there is
like I know there's
Castlevania...
Harmony of Despair, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Harmony of Despair is like still pretty good. It's still something that you can buy, by the way, on Xbox. If you have an Xbox One or an Xbox Series, because they made the 360 version compatible. I think that's really the only feasible way to buy it, unless you have old hardware, because it's not backwards compatible on PlayStation. And I don't remember if that ever came out on Steam or something like that. Probably, though, right? I don't know, honestly.
I don't know if it did. I thought it was just mobile only, wasn't it? Harmony, or was it Harmony of Dissonance? Was it not just the mobile
of Despair?
game? Oh,
no, Harmony of Dissonance is like an actual game. Harmony of Despair, it's a little confusing, but they called it Harmony of Despair because it was the first 2D Castlevania in HD. So they wanted it to be the initials to be HD. But
I see.
I actually, like a year or two ago, started getting some people via Twitter to get on there once a week to get on it. It's fun. As far as like something that's like a Metroidvania that's multiplayer.
Guacamelee?
Yeah, the second one, right? The first one doesn't have it, does it?
I'm pretty sure the first one has it.
Does it? Maybe I just never played multiplayer on that.
Yeah, I didn't know Guacamelee.
No, the second one did, because I played that.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but maybe I just don't have friends, Push, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ozzy just realising Dawn of Sorrow is like that because it's DS.
Yeah. They did that. They definitely did that. I think the new Prince of Persia has multiplayer. I haven't...
No, unless you're thinking of the one that's made by the Dead Cells team. The new one by Ubisoft directly doesn't have multiplayer.
Doesn't?
No.
Hey, okay.
I
haven't played that yet, even though I love Prince of Persia and I love Metroidvanias. I just like I haven't had time.
Does Kirby and the Amazing Mirror count?
True, that is Kirby a Metroidvania, and it does have 4-player. Yeah, it just, the frame rate drops to like 5 FPS if you try playing in 4-player.
The Switch Online version, though, I played through like the entire campaign with friends twice already, and it's just, I love that game so much.
Yeah,
I wish there were more games like that.
Yeah, we need to return to that era of multiplayer. I played a bit of Four Swords Adventures the other day, which isn't a Metroidvania, but it was a lot of fun. Although,
I think collaborative. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, something might be controversial. I actually think Triforce Heroes might be a better game than Four Swords Adventures.
I do agree.
I love the Triforce. I love the Triforce Heroes erasure. When we're talking about
Zelda Echoes being the first 2D Zelda in 10 years.
Yeah, or even the first one that is being made by
Grezzo.
So thank you.
Yes.
And I'm like, you people just don't respect Triforce Heroes. That's fine. I've also been playing, working through the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I finally purchased them because there was a sale on Switch. Number one, I recently played through Final Fantasy 1 through 3 just on via emulation for the Game Boy Advance games. And man, it kind of sucks going back to the original games because the GBA and PSP re-releases added so much shit, changed shit. They gave it an actual like magic system, so just going back is whatever. Although I did play Final Fantasy 1 as all monks, which is so dumb. Never done that. But it is it's fun because all you're doing is basically using items and just auto battle, and it sucks for the first like 2 or 3 dungeons. But after that, like once you get over the hump and you get 1 or 2 items that lets you cast magical spells in case there's a magic enemy, like you just don't die or do anything. It's boring. You literally just auto battle, but kind of fun. And I started playing Momodaro Reverie Under the Moonlight, which is actually a game I think I know that I
yeah, you reviewed the first one, I think.
It was one. Well, that's the one that I reviewed. I'm replaying it because it's been like however many years, and I like it, and it's not a very long Metroidvania. It's long enough, like don't get me wrong, but it's a game I could play through because the new one came out earlier this year, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna replay this to get a feel for the series.
I remember when I saw that one. I remember when I saw that one come out, and I was like, "Wait, there are more Momodaros? I think there's like 3 or something." Like, I think there's there's a surprising number of them.
Yeah, there's that's the 5th one. That's Momotaro 5. But the first 2 you can actually get for free. And they're like really simple. Like the first one isn't even a Metroidvania. It's just kind of more of a simple. It's a more linear platformer adventure type of game. Like the 4th one, the one that I reviewed, is like I feel like when it really comes together, and it's like, wow, this is good. The other ones are nice to go back to just because you're like, oh, this is like how the developer started and when he's to get to this point. But yeah, that's more or less the stuff I've been playing. I did also download something to review, which I've been playing a little bit, and you know what that is because you're the one who sent me the code.
I know what that is, yes, but you can't say what it is because it's under embargo.
I can't say what it is. Yes, because it's under embargo.
Just a comment, Blue Phoenix asked a question. I don't suppose you continue the All Content series, or are we waiting for the next Smash installment? The latter. I don't think we're going to do it as all content. I think it would probably just be like just the character or just the stage as their own. Like we don't want to do spirits and music and all of that.
We don't know what all content even means anymore because are there spirits? Are there
exactly?
I mean, for all we know, the next Smash is going to be a 3D arena battle. It's not, but we don't know. It could be anything.
Anything is possible.
So yeah, it's so difficult to say.
Yeah, so it's either going to be a case of like we wait to see when the next Smash gets like officially announced and shown off to have an idea about how it's going to be and then start doing content around it, or we'll wait until like if the Switch 2 gets revealed and then they offhandedly mention that there's a new Mario Kart and a new Smash, kind of like what they did with the Wii and maybe even Wii U. I think it's like if something like that happens, then we might start from around there. But for now, it's not a focus right now, just because we don't know what the future of Smash is gonna be, and we got other games and content we want to focus on, which I'll talk a bit more about at the end. As for me, in terms of what games I've been playing, I finally got around to playing Nintendo World Championships. That game is certainly a game that exists. I don't know if any of you guys have played it.
I have played through it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet.
I'm just mad that it's not remixed, so I refuse to buy it.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely only bought it because the Japanese special edition came with Famicom-shaped Joy-Cons, and I wanted them. And it was pretty much the same price to get them as it was to just get them with the game. But it's like I got A++ on pretty much everything really quickly. The only thing I've been struggling with is Excitebike, because it turns out I'm really bad at Excitebike. But there really isn't much there to it. Comparing it to Picross Namco Edition, which I was also playing, I started that game when I got into Japan. Like, I was playing Super Monkey Ball, I finished it, I then started up Picross Namco Edition, and then spent pretty much the entire month of July and a bit of August just playing Picross. And then I pick up Nintendo World Championship and I play it like 3 times, and I've basically done everything in that. I've even done the online tournaments. And I'm not motivated to go back and try and get the S rank for everything. Like, there are some games where I think I could do it, but just doing it for all of them, some of them are a right pain in the ass. And like I said, Excitebike I apparently really garbage at, and I don't understand how it works. So that one would be extra annoying to get an S rank in. I might try and get the last A++ rank I need in Excitebike, which is the very last one mission in Excitebike, where you have to do 2 laps. And it's only because that's the only one I'm missing that I'm a bit more motivated to try and do it, to complete the set and get the pin badge for it. But yeah, otherwise, it's a game. It really should have been a new NES remix, if anything, or like at least had more games in it. Like, I still find it baffling that this has less games in it than NES remix, and all it's doing is taking out tiny segments from each game and being like, do this as fast as you can. Which also just kind of changes how you approach stuff, like the Hammer Brother minigame in that, where you just have to beat the Hammer Bro and pick up the item as fast as possible. I don't care if I get hit by it. It starts you as Fire Mario, so my tactic is just to jump, throw a fireball at it, and like tank the damage, and then pick up the chest, which I wouldn't do in a normal playthrough, because I don't want to be getting hurt. But there are so many speed moments in that game where like the optimal strategy is just to take a hit, because it'll just be faster to deal with that. Don't worry about it, because it's not going to matter as long as you get it done quickly.
I definitely agree with Voyager. Like, I feel like it should have been included with NSO.
Yeah, I think so as well. Although the online doesn't even have online multiplayer, does it? It has the online tournaments, but doesn't have.
Well, like, I actually don't have NSO right now because I'm not a family. I don't have a family anymore. So so like actually like Nintendo the World Champion is terrible without online. Actually, like, really? Just as like, yeah, without online, you get like half the content.
Damn, it kind of reminds me of like Nintendo Switch Sports then, because that was a big problem I had with that game. If you don't have online, sure, you can play every sport, but you can only do the absolute basic, and you can't even unlock any outfits or new emotions or anything. It's like insanely basic without Nintendo Switch Online, which is just bad in my opinion. Like, no game should, unless it's coming with Nintendo Switch Online, like Tetris 99, no game should require you to pay for NSO. It's just silly.
I wanna say something real fast. So Blue Phoenix 99 asks, what legacy titles do you wish to have an installment on Switch? Listen, we don't answer questions unless you give us money. That's how this works. That's how...
this is a 10th anniversary. This is a celebration. We won't answer any question.
Fine.
Almost any question.
Jeez. Okay.
Nice grift,
but... anyways, obviously the answer is Punch Out. Like, it's so easy. It's the easiest formula. It's just have funny stereotypes and then you punch them. I think it reflects well on Nintendo and on us as a culture, but it's funny. I like it. I like Punch Out. I still think they should do a women's circuit.
Yeah, we've had this conversation so many times.
Yeah, yeah. And he also brought up Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus is a close second, because I think you could do a lot. You could do a new 2D Kid Icarus, or you could do something that follows up Uprising. Anyways.
Yeah.
Have you seen that indie Punch Out?
No, I haven't. What's
Oh,
the? Who's
I
the
wish
developer?
listed that game. What's the name of it?
Yeah, I think I have seen it. What's it called? While people are trying to remember that, there is one Punch-Out like game that's on like Game Boy Advance. I think it's
Was it Thunder Ray?
no what on the GBA or the
Oh, sorry. No, I was talking about the indie game
okay
that we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
I think that's it.
Thunder
Yeah.
Ray. Crunchyroll Thunder Ray. Is it made by Is it published by Crunchyroll?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Like it comes up
Yeah, it
as a
looks like
mobile game. I think it's already out. Crunchyroll Thunder
Oh,
Ray.
yeah. I guess it was published by Crunchyroll. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that does look. Yeah, that is definitely a Punch-Out game.
Punch-Out game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that it took so long for that formula to really be copied, and I know there have been in the past. Oh God, there's
I was going to bring up the two GBA ones. There's Wade Hickston's Counter Punch, and then a game called Punch King, which are both just Punch-Out games for the Game Boy Advance that I don't think like anyone really knows. I think Punch King is a bit more like Super Punch-Out, whereas Wade Hickston's a bit more like the original Punch-Out. I'm waiting for the day that those two games come to NSO because there's like almost no reason not to do it. And I think they would actually blow up on NSO because people would actually learn they exist.
I think just in general, I don't know what it is about Punch-Out in particular, but there's just something about the charm of those characters. I don't know that I think is never matched in any of the, like, I'm looking at the Thunder Ray and it looks all right. Feel like you probably don't need as much blood in a game that's this cartoony. Not that I'm like being prudish about it. It's just like kind of whatever. It looks okay. Looks good.
Voyager just said Punch-Out with VTubers. What?
Is that what that is?
I don't know. That's certainly an idea.
They do have. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of HoloLive stuff when I was at Bit Summit. A lot of HoloLive related games. If they want to do a Punch-Out like, go. Why not? The 3D models exist.
Well, we all know what Nintendex's revived series is because Serious Smooth.
Do you?
So whatever. You can talk about it. I'm not gonna.
I mean, Murasame Castle is the obvious one.
Yeah.
But I was actually going to slightly bring up Chibi Robo and then say that you could have it come to Switch if you go now to Kickstarter and back Ko-Robo by the original creators of Chibi Robo because they're trying to get that game funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it needs just a bit more. Actually, I wonder if it's actually been funded. Hold on a second. I was just bringing it because when I was out the other day looking at it, it wasn't funded yet. But now I think it's just funded. They asked for 20 million yen. Apparently it's sitting on 20,806,008. Hooray, awesome. Okay, that's great. You could still fund it, though, if you want to give them a little bit more money. I'm going to do this before it ends. I haven't had the chance because I've been in Japan. But I was starting to get a bit paranoid about this game not getting funded because we actually have an interview with them. It's not the one coming out on Sunday, but I actually sat down and chatted with the three of them. And it's a really fun interview, and I was really paranoid about the game not getting funded, and the interview being really awkward when it released. So this is a good thing for me, a good thing for the channel. Okay, so I guess everyone will be getting a Chibi Robo game on the Switch. Hooray! But yeah, Murasame Castle would be my choice. Kid Icarus would also be a second choice. Like, I love Kid Icarus.
I feel like the world of Kid Icarus has so much potential. Like, and there's so much you could do with it because, like, you could even do like a Kid Icarus. It's so funny because it's not it's definitely on the lower end of importance and sales for Nintendo IP, but it's on the higher end of Nintendo games that I want to see a Warriors spinoff for. There's so many characters that do so many different things.
Yeah. Big Boy Boxing was the other indie game, and actually this is the one I had seen, not Rain Thunder. This one has a lot more of the cartoony aesthetic that I think fits Punch-Out. There's apparently a demo on Steam, so if anyone's interested, go check that out after. Alright, well, Snazzy and I are giving our responses to this. Kody, what legacy title would you wish for them to add onto Switch?
So this is... Can it be not a Nintendo legacy title, but a Famicom title that just never really had a re-release on Nintendo systems?
Yeah,
I will say if it comes from Famicom, yeah, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, because they didn't specify Nintendo; they just said legacy title. So
this is such a weird choice, I know, but I really want Takeshi's Challenge on Switch Online, only because I really want to use the Nintendo Switch Online Famicom controllers to like play the game, because they have the microphone like built into them, it works. I really want to use it for Takeshi's Challenge. I just think it would be great, even though the game is purposefully made not to be a good game. There actually was a re-release of the game like on mobile platforms, but it did add like a bunch of stuff, but they never re-released it on consoles. I would love something like that on Switch Online, even like the original. If the original game was just re-released, that would be great. But if they ever re-released that mobile version, that would be awesome. Yeah, so that's my weird choice. I really want to sing into the microphone of the Famicom Online controller.
I was going to say, you just want an excuse to have karaoke on Nintendo Switch
Exactly,
Online.
Yes.
That's funny. Actually, there's quite a few funky Famicom games I'd like to see come to the system.
Yeah.
I think they did release actually just straight up a karaoke game on Famicom. I think it's hot garbage, but they did release one. Liquid, what about you? What legacy title do you want to see come to the Switch?
You know what? I don't have enough of I don't have enough of a background on legacy games to really answer that honestly. Like, does it have to be like a Nintendo franchise, or does it have to be something that had a Nintendo presence? Like, what's the qualifier here?
They didn't specify it had to be a Nintendo title. I mean, I guess we've been treating it as like it had to have at least been on like a Nintendo system, and like I guess before. So it has to be like a retro. So I think I'd count anything on the 64, but probably not something that debuted on GameCube onwards. So retro, ideally on Nintendo, but doesn't have to be a Nintendo title. Nintendo-owned title. So...
Yeah, you can tell that I don't have to... Like, you can tell that my retro background is not necessarily all Nintendo, so I'm struggling to come up with an answer here.
No, that's fine. If you got one for Sega or something, or PlayStation, like I know I think you're the youngest one out of us, right? So
27.
Yeah, I mean that's younger than unless Cody's.
I'm a couple years younger, actually.
Oh, okay. So Cody's the youngest one here. Then I guess if you got something on PlayStation, then Liquid. As well.
So as far as this question goes, because I don't have the stream open to look at the comments. Are we like talking like a new entry completely, or like what?
Just to have an installment on the Switch. So I mean, Kody didn't give a new entry as much as they just asked for Takeshi's Challenge to come back and be available again. So that can count. Just some presence on the Switch. And I mean, it's alright if every game you've wanted or series is on the Switch in some capacity.
This is kind of it's kind of an oddball choice. But then I thought, oh, limited run games re-released that stuff on Switch already. But I was gonna say I was gonna say a new Rocket Knight game. You know, like if anyone's familiar with that, the one with the armadillo guy, Sparkster.
Yeah.
But Limited Run already did a re-release of the original titles on Switch, and you know, screw Limited Run. But that kind of stole the thunder out of my idea. So I'm just gonna say I would like a new Rocket Knight game. So those are really fun.
Yes. What was the latest Rocket Knight game? Didn't people not like that, or was that just a case of it's by a different dev, so it's not as good?
It was a Sega Genesis game originally, but there was some. It started on the Genesis, but it has a bit of a complicated legacy where like there were like two sequels named the same. The sequel was named Sparkster, but it came out on both Genesis and the Super Nintendo at the time, but they're like completely different games.
Oh, okay.
So like there's a bit of a spat between which one is the better sequel because they're like both fundamentally different in a lot of ways. So
okay.
And it was another one of the to use the derogatory but more familiar term with a lot of people these days. It was part of the Scrimblow Bimblow craze of the 90s where like, oh, everyone's got to have their own wacky mascot animal platformer guy. And, you know, Rocket Knight was just one of many of those. And unfortunately, you know, got a bit lost to time. There was a retro revival around 2010 just called Rocket Knight, but, you know, it didn't really catch on all that much. But the way a lot of legacy titles have come to Switch and you have, you know, done pretty well for themselves, you know, like Emio being the most recent example of, those two Famicom Detective Club remasters did well enough, so hey, let's make an entirely new game, which I think Yoshio Sakamoto said that was the first new installment in that series for like 30 years, I think he said, when the full Emio announcement came out. 30 years, something like that.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's lying, but that's what he said.
The point is, in that same vein, I would love for another Rocket Knight game to show up on Switch. That's basically my answer.
All right, nice. Yeah, Rocket Knight's owned by Konami, if I remember correctly, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's another roadblock. Unfortunately, Konami being Konami.
I mean,
well, all somebody has to do is ask nicely, and Konami will give it to them. That's just
true. The Konami seems fine with just licensing all their shit out rather than actually making.
Yeah, they just don't like to do work.
Yeah, unless it's Momotaro Densetsu, in which case they will make a new one every few years because that game sells insanely well in Japan. I'm actually honestly surprised they haven't tried releasing Momotaro Densetsu in like outside of Japan, just given how
in the Western markets.
Yeah, like because they've been getting around to releasing Power Pro Kun again in the West as eBaseball, and I think that's done well enough. Like it was really good, the Power Pro Kun game they released on Switch, and I think they've announced another one. I'm not sure if it's out yet or not. But Momotaro, is it Momotaro Densetsu or Dentetsu?
I think it's Dentetsu.
Dentetsu. Because I think I read somewhere that it was like Momotaro Dentetsu is technically a spin-off of Momotaro Densetsu, and I think that always like trips me up.
Did you guys see that? I was just speaking of Rocket Knight and 16-bit games getting re-releases and remasters. They're like Arrow the Acrobat came out on Switch like a month ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that pop up. Someone mentioned that on social media. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's so random. But apparently I haven't played it yet, but apparently from everything that I've heard, it's a really good re-release. Like all of the little options and extras that they give you, and I think it's like under $10. I think it's under $5 to be honest with you.
Okay.
Maybe I'll pick that up. Who knows? But it's so weird because it's one of those games that like there's certain games that in your mind, and this is obviously true for anything that's licensed, like although that's been changing in recent years too, with things like the Disney Afternoon Collection, the Disney Collection, the Cowabunga collection, stuff like that. but there's some stuff that just is relegated in your head to being like stuff that I will have to either physically track a cartridge down or just play on emulator. And Arrow the Acrobat has been in that like headspace for me for like 3 decades, and I'm like, I guess I can go buy Arrow the Acrobat now if I want.
So just want to shout out to Nerbion making a guest appearance in the chat. Congrats, it's 10 years. Thank you very much, Nerbion. We wouldn't be here without you. You're a big part of this history, so thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you, Nerbion.
Thank you, Nerbion. I was just telling Nintenjax the story of how we first started chatting the other day. Like Nerbion basically saw like the really bad header that I had made for an article and like DM'd me and was just like, "Hey, can I help you with that?" And so like Nerbion is it has huge impact on Source Gaming and really really great guy.
Yeah, he saw that you really needed a graphic designer. I
laid the groundwork for like all of the future graphic design too. I know that we've revamped it and changed it. The initial style of everything, I think, really comes from his style.
Yeah, like we haven't we changed it to try and make it slightly less Smash Brothers-y, or like we jumped from like Smash 4 to Smash Ultimate, and then we've tried to. We've got like a few Smash things, like you can see the character icons on stream are still Smash Brothers connected, but we've tried to change up everything else. But like it's still very much from the base style that Nerbion laid out, and I don't think that's going to change.
And Voyager did a lot with the graphics as well.
Yes, absolutely. Like a lot of the UI and HUD graphics and stuff like that. I mean, like the border here, so the icons are based on the Smash, but everything else on here, like the border, the way this is all laid out, is from Voyager, which is also, thank you very much. It's been a huge part of our identity. Tripping over myself.
I think this is a great time to plan for the 11th anniversary. So if anyone has any ideas, just throw that. I was thinking of hosting a Dungeons and Dragons game where I'm the game master and everybody else is playing as a video game character set in the world of Captain N and the Game Master. I haven't shared this with anybody yet.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Actually, that would be a fun setting for Dungeons and Dragons, to be honest.
The best part is you could pick a character, and because it's Captain N, it doesn't have to be anything like the actual character from the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Can I pick like can I pick a character from a game and then just change their name to be the title of the game they're from?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
I'd give myself a stupid, like every sentence I say has to have some tagline in it related to my name. I have to say I'll be Wonder Boy, and I have to say Wonder in every single sentence.
Oh no!
That's wonderful.
Somebody died. Let's call Famicom Detective Club.
All right, Push. I think you're the only one who hasn't answered this question. So, what legacy title do you want to see come back?
I guess it was released on GameCube, so I don't know if it counts in this question or not. But Wave Race, I feel like that.
Wave Race was released on the Game Boy originally.
Is due for a comeback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wave Race was a Game Boy and 64 game first, so
yeah.
I think you're fine. I think that counts as a legacy title. Wave Race would be a fun one to come back. Just want to see other racing games that aren't Mario Kart. Like, Nintendo had such a good opportunity on the Switch with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe being re-release to like potentially like try and capture the people who wanted to see a new Mario Kart, try and capture them with a different racing game and try something new.
Yeah, like Diddy Kong Racing, bring that back too. Solid.
Diddy Kong Racing, Wave Race. They could have made something new. Like I've been saying that equestrian horse racing part of Mario Sports Superstars is actually like the only good part of that game, and would be really cool if they turned it into a full racing game. It doesn't even need to be Mario related. You can make a Zelda racing game with all horseback. Just do
and
like
horse
that.
racing is really popular in Japan too.
Yeah, so there's something you could really do there, but they just didn't, which is a shame. Oh well. So that's for that question. So the next thing I was going to bring up, which I know I didn't ask any of you to prepare for this, but I saw that Push, you already wrote about this on Twitter. Given it's the 10th anniversary, I thought I'd ask everyone what their favourite piece of content on Source Gaming is. I saw Push, you made like a top 10 list. So I'm going to let you start with that while I give Kody, Liquid, and Snazzy time to think on what theirs would be.
I recently posted about this on the platform that is still known as Twitter. But like there's just 10 articles that I just thought of for the anniversary. First one is probably the most ambiguous one, the definitive list of unused fighters in Smash, which was so much research with Soma. I think Snazzy, I think you even helped out with this, and Nintenjax, Kody, I think you also contributed as well. Like a lot of people, took a lot of time to update this article, make sure it was like the best list of resource for people to check. Because I remember, like in the Smash Rumors forum, the Smash Leaks forum, like we didn't have a good resource like that. And so creating that list and trying to get the record straight on, if certain characters were considered or planned or scrapped, was really important, I think, for the Smash community. And I think that's like probably the post that most aligns with like what the original goal of like Source Gaming was.
Yeah, I think the definitive unused fighter list is like really important piece of information that we have on the website. Like, because there was just so much misinformation around which characters should be were going to be planned and weren't going to be planned. Like people claiming Pit in Smash 64 or Wolf in Melee. That's just
like if you look at like Smash Wiki right now, like it's basically just a rewrite of that article.
Yeah.
Like that article has like rewritten whole Wikipedia, and like it has informed content creators now, and so like the proper information is actually being disseminated.
There were like Pit and Wolf in Melee were for years like just gospel. Yeah. People that may have gotten into Smash speculation later don't realize how pervasive this information was. And it's because somebody said, hey, so in this issue of Famitsu, somebody said something, and they're like, cool, I don't read Japanese. I have no reason to not believe this person. Why would somebody lie on the internet? And yeah, here we are.
I think the one for me was always Peach and Meowth in Smash 64.
Yeah.
Because I even saw like fake screenshots people had made, I think using like the Mario Party model of Peach and putting it into like Smash 64 and claiming it was like early screenshots.
Yeah, I think like people also got like really hung up on like the tech demo with Meowth playing the guitar.
Yeah.
And like they were like, oh, yeah, like that has to be a character, or that almost got into Smash.
It's like, why would they go with that model and not like the normal Meowth model? Like, it's got to mean something.
Oh, I didn't know that on YouTube fandom wiki, the Wikia, there's a little Source Gaming.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before. There's so many fan wikis out there. It's insane. But all right, Liquid, Kody, Snazzy, do you guys have a favorite article or video or piece of content you worked on for Source Gaming?
I'm gonna go a little bit different. I've written a lot of articles, and I feel like a lot of them are super Smash specific, and like, oh man, what if Ryu Hayabusa was in Smash? I did do the Smash roster cuts, so that was kind of like a definitive list of cuts. So that was a pretty good Smash related one. Or I assisted on that one in any case very heavily. A lot of mine were just so character specific that looking back on it, you're like, who really cares? Or like it's at the time it was cool, but now, but you know what I always liked was our I led every time we did it, and I wish, because I feel like it was coming together. I feel like if we had one more shot at it, it would have actually been good. Is our E3 coverage? So we're never getting the chance to do it again, and I feel like we kind of stumbled our way on how to do it because I was the only person that was consistently there for the 3 years that we went to E3. But I feel like we were starting to get to it. Like by the last year, I was actually reaching out proactively and said, because when you're doing an event, and neither of you have done E3, but you've done the other big ones,
Gamescom and Bit Summit now, and Push has done Tokyo Game Show.
Yep, exactly. So you've done, Summit. Like I said, you guys have done the other big ones. So you know that when you go, it's a freaking job.
Yes.
It's not. It's like people are like, "Oh my god, it's so good, so fun." I'm like, no, you are running from one thing to another. You are trying to see as much and do as much, and it is stressful, and then you have to go back and write about it. So, it's not like it's cool, and it's gratifying, and it's awesome that you get to see stuff, but it is not easy at all. But and then the other thing is, if you just go with no plan, like you're just hoping that you bump into somebody, or you're standing in line to play a game and then writing a review on it, which is essentially what we did the first year. By the third year, like I said, we were setting up interviews. I was starting to get contacts that, like, here's my Square Enix contact, here's my Capcom, like, and finally, and I'm all like, man, next year, 2020, this is going to be the one. We're going to get it, setting it out, and E3 never came back. But I'm so proud of the work.
I mean, like when Source Gaming like first started, like there wasn't any other website that had like a global presence like us. Like we were like the only blog that could actually be in Japan and Europe and the US.
Yeah. It's my first huge advantage. I mean, we still have that advantage with me being in Europe and Brando being in Japan. And everyone else being in America. Obviously, it's not like when Nervion being in Germany, which makes it a lot easier to go to Gamescom. But I can at least I can go to Gamescom, although I'm not going this year because just next week, and I'm not doing that after I just got back from Japan. But I will be doing EGX and WASD and stuff in London later this year, so we can actually do stuff like that.
Source Gaming has almost always had members in like almost every time zone.
Yeah. Yep. Even on this call, we've got people in all the 3 major time zones. Which
it's funny looking at it back, the different because I've tried so many different formats for articles and stuff, but it was funny because for so long we were so Smash, and we still, I mean, that's still how people think of us, obviously, and I have no problem with that in general, but we're so Smash focused that, like, I kept trying to do different things. People are like, that is not an article about Smash Brothers. Good times. My first article was I'm just going back April 2015. And it's why I think Solid Snake should come back to Smash Brothers. I was right; he came back. So suck it, people in the comments.
if we're talking about that, shout outs to Voyager for being like the only person online to be like, no, Pokemon Trainer will come back.
Yes,
not even I believed that. Look what happened. So kudos to you,
Um,
Voyager.
Yeah. There was, oh man, I started a series. I'm sorry, now I'm reminiscing. I'm going down. I'm having
It's
an old
fine.
man
That's
moment
that's
again.
part of what this stream is all about.
Yeah, there was only like two of these that I did, but I'm all like, I feel like this isn't a bad concept at all. It was called A Winner Is You, obviously based off of the quote from NES Pro Wrestling. And it was on Twitter, I would do a poll, and I'm all like, out of the first 4 Mega Man games, this is one of the articles I did, what's your favorite? And Mega Man 2 won. So then I wrote an article on Mega Man 2, on the background, the development, the basics, why people consider it some of their favorites, things that are memorable about it. So like, and then I even embedded some tweet reactions. I'm like, man, it's a good idea that I never did again. I feel like that's we're very of the people at Source Gaming. I feel like, we pride ourselves on our interactivity, on communicating with our fan base. I always thought it was weird too with Source Gaming. I feel like, especially towards the beginning, we were always very popular with other content creators and other channels and people in gaming media more than more than just cultivating a very large, because we do have, it's not like we don't have fans. We have a sizable and very dedicated fan base, but it never grew. It grew disproportionately with other content creators, and I don't know how to feel about that. If that's a source of pride or not, I feel like at least it proves that we were substantive, that we stood out in some way, or that we still stand out. I don't know why I'm speaking like we're dead.
We're tastemakers.
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah. So, Liquid, Cody, do you have a specific article that you want to bring up? One that you remember fondly?
So I remember one thing that really like started a lot of the stuff that I did for my own mother website. One of the first things I posted in relation to like that whole deal was an article about new Mother 3 Nintendo 64 stuff that I found.
Mm-hmm.
And I translated that too. But like at that time, I didn't think of making I thought of making like a mother website after I started getting these, but like this was like really the first that article was like one of the first things that really made me realize there was like so much more to find about Mother 3 64 on the Nintendo 64 at the time. And that I wrote that first article and translated it and posted it there, and on Source Gaming. And when I did that, I was like, oh man, there's still a lot to really find out about this game at the time. Now, after like the past few years of like trying to find a lot of this stuff, we've really gotten to a point where we found it all now. But like at that point, there was like barely anything. It's wild how that kind of stuff can change in like a few years. But at that time, that was like one of the first really big things that anybody had found out about Mother 3 on the Nintendo 64 at the time. I'm proud of that one.
Well, hopefully in 2 years, when it's Mother 3's 20th anniversary, we'll find out more. They'll do. I was going to bring it up. I went to that Earthbound pop-up.
Oh, you went to the exhibit?
Yeah, the exhibit. It was the last thing I did in Japan. Me and Brando.
That's awesome.
Together.
What did you think?
Yeah, it was cool. It's really cool seeing all the little figures that they use for all the press.
Yeah.
They're bigger than I expected them to be. I haven't had a chance to upload the photos. You're allowed to take photos of the figures.
Oh, definitely do that.
You weren't allowed to take photos of anything else. So I took like really high quality photos of all the figures.
That's
from
awesome.
Different angles and stuff like that.
And
it's super cool. I really liked all of the sprite work that they had. Like they had the sheets with all of the sprites for stuff, including like cut enemies.
Yeah.
And stuff,
right?
Like this soldier enemy that you were going to fight at one point that sort of was dressed up as like an American soldier.
Wow.
And references to Fiverrent, which is obviously like the cut area. I think a lot of this information has been leaked online. They had a big sign saying, "Please do not take any photos," or spread this info.
Yeah,
about.
I know
some
stuff has been posted online so far, but not all of it yet. So it's always cool to hear like anybody talk about their experience there, because some stuff just is not able to be posted online or hasn't been yet. So we'll see.
There's a cool thing where like they had like 16 pieces of paper, and each one was meant to be each chapter of Earthbound, and it's like had flowcharts and explained what all the it had like listed at the top like here's the name of all the key characters from this chapter, and then just sort of details like very briefly, here's the flow of how this chapter works.
Yeah,
and then this one massive flowchart for the whole game, which just went down just like here's every single key event in order with side stuff coming out and things like that. That was pretty neat. Notes about how like I think like the Happy Village or something was going to be like slightly different, either in a slightly different location or when you first go there it's not Happy, and then it becomes it on your second visit, something like that. I need to like double check. Maybe I'll speak to Branda about it. He was translating everything for me.
That's great.
Through it all.
I can't wait. Yeah, that'll be exciting to see. Yeah, besides doing that like Mother 3 pre-release stuff, this wasn't directly something that was posted on Source Gaming, but you like kind of made this connection happen. It was the one with there's an interview that I helped out with the scenario writer for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It's to Infinity for all the games, but I remember when you asked me to do that, I was like, what? That's like my favorite. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is one of my favorite games ever. Like that, or the series is one of my favorite ever. So like when you asked me to do that, I was so excited. I'm so glad that I was able to like have a part in getting more out of the scenario writer, because he hasn't ever really posted anything online. He didn't even know that he was popular at all. Like his work was popular. Like it was wild. So yeah, that was great too.
Seafoam Gaming, I think, is the one you really need to thank for that, because they were the ones who reached out to me first to be like, "Can you please?" If I remember this correctly, I think they reached out to me being like, "I have this email for the scenario writer for Mystery Dungeon, and I want to ask them questions, but I don't know any Japanese. Can you help with this?"
That is.
Yeah, and then I was like, yes, I know just the person who can help out. Those are pretty good. I think a lot of them. I know Seafoam Gaming's interview with him is on their website.
That's right.
And they're still talking with other developers. I'm still in the chat. They're talking with Sushio and getting some other translations done. I think they released one back in June with like the Phantasm programmer from Nihon Falcom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned that person during the interview with the scenario writer. Actually, I think they knew each other or something.
I think they just have like a whole list of associated developers and scenario writers and programmers that they're trying to get through. But all right, Liquid. It's now on to you. What anything from Source Gaming that you've done, or it doesn't even have to be something you've done. If there's another article that you think's particularly great.
No, I did think about it for a while. My ultimate choice was between a video and an article that I'm pretty sure we made into a video, but I honestly don't remember it because it was so long ago. Mm-hmm. And I even forget the name. I honestly forget the name of the article because I don't have it fresh on my mind, but I do remember around the time when Smash 4's DLC finished, I think. Mm-hmm. There was that article that we all collectively researched a bit because it was full of like how people acted in the past versus how they've acted today, because we were pulling like old Smashboards quotes. We're saying why is there more Star Fox? Why is there not more Fire Emblem and stuff like that? And, it was deliberately pointed as a contrast to what we have today, where people are like, "Oh my God, Fire Emblem is a scum of the earth. Why does it have 6 characters?" And I'm like, my brother in Christ, have you looked at people? Have you looked at how people were saying in the past, like, hey, people wanted more Fire Emblem, and people wanted more in the past, and like people were saying, "Oh no, don't give Star Fox more characters. Where's King K. Rool?" Stuff like that. So like there was all that, and we were contrasting what happened then and what happened now, and how people were like reacting now. I that was one of my favorite things to work on, like the amount of research we did, compiling all those past reactions, comparing it to today. That was I think I mostly wrote that article, but I don't.
It was the Mega Smash poll.
No, not the Mega
it wasn't
Smash.
Mega Smash poll.
I'm talking about the research into like Melee and 64.
No.
Let me see if I can find the article. Keep going, Liquid.
Yeah, because it was like, like people reacting so poorly to like how the DLC ended for 4, and it was like that, like me pulling recent at the time Smashboards quotes, comparing it to the old, like the drawing that contrast was at the time so fascinating, and I'm sure if we did another one of that same article like now with how Ultimate ended, because a lot of people are demonstrably sour on how the DLC had a third-party slant instead of being first-party. Like, I don't think you need me to tell you that, but that article, like, honestly, probably my favorite to write. It sucks that I forget the name, though.
Yeah, I'm sure I can find it. I know exactly which one you're talking about, because it's one I always think of every so often, because it's just very funny. It's very funny looking back at the pre-Brawl era and seeing how many people were like mad about Star Fox and Fire Emblem in particular. I think it's not the post-Smash Salt Storm or something like that, is it?
I think it. You know what? I actually think that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, I think we started as an article and we made it into a video. Sorry, ignore the dog if you can hear that.
Yeah, that is old. Like, it's 7 years old at this point.
The original article came out in 2016, so it's even.
Oh, it's 8.
Even
it's 8 years old.
Longer,
yes, yeah. That's it. The post-Smash Salt Storm. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. Like, you got quotes from people like, Bowser's size is just about right, and the size of the others fit the game. A small Ridley would just look stupid.
Man, the Source Gaming is so old that some of you are as old now as I was when I started. It's crazy.
Yeah, like now pulling up the article, like some of this stuff looks really, really funny now. Like Ness is gone, face it. How does Rob have a chance of getting in? Has been in more DK games than DK himself. What does that even mean? 4 Mario reps instead of 5 or 6?
Yeah.
What about Gino, Bowser Jr., Paper Mario? Like, we have Bowser Jr. now. Like, Gino not yet. Wolf over Crystal? No, Crystal is much more popular than Wolf. 2 Fire Emblem reps? There are 10 Fire Emblem games more than Star Fox, and Star Fox gets more reps. I don't know where that guy is today, but I hope he's looking back on it now, and I hope he's laughing, honestly.
Like, I helped kind of immensely with that particular article with research. And I brought up to Nintendox not too long ago, and I haven't done any work on it, so shame on me. But I'm a busy adult human with things to do. Taking the next step on an article like that, because I was bringing up old Usenet, because like the internet was around in the 80s. I think some people don't really understand that far back there was an internet. It wasn't as robust and there weren't as many people on it, but it was there, and a lot of the same nerd stuff that people talk about is the same. So I was just showing him like Usenet posts from the 80s where people are all like, no fundo with their underpowered tech compared to my gaming PC and their kid stuff. They're gonna the more like a lame boy. And I'm like, I just want to go back and like talk about how like Nintendo has been doomed since at least 1987, like because it's so funny.
Yeah,
Like,
I was going to bring this up if you were still out
Do
to
it.
open the door, like because you sent this to me. It's like Nintendo is doomed circa 1989, and like the
Yeah.
first quote is like, "The lame boy is just an extension of their Luddite policies extended to the handheld. If Atari makes enough Lynxes, they might actually get beaten." Although this is certainly a major long shot due to Atari's psychological problems. It's like, cool, just because they have so many cartridges for them. So does that mean if a Porsche and a Ford Escort were the same price that I should buy the Ford just because there are more Ford dealers? Personally, one good game in colour is worth 100 good, although most are crappy games in black and grey. Man,
Yeah,
some of these are great.
Yeah, I need to get off my butt and write that because like time is a flat circle. Like that's just what it is, man. Nerds on the internet complaining about Nintendo has been here since a lot of us were born, since I was a wee babe, and will be here after, I'm sure.
Like this other quote of like, the top Japanese games like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man are far more accessible to the novice and appeal to a wider group of people compared to the Western video games like Stargate and Defender, the hardcore titles. This
Yes.
all obviously in like an era before any kind of visual novel or most JRPGs and all of that in Japan had even come out over here in the West at all.
Oh yeah, is that the one where it talks about Pac-Man being a woman's game?
Yes, it's the same
like,
quote.
Yes. Can you get to that part of the quote? Oh, that's so good.
Let me let me find it. Pac-Man's dot-eating proclivities are nothing if not cute. My mother-in-law, a Pac-Man fan who doesn't care for many of the American games, says eating things is much nicer than blowing them up. In fact, Pac-Man is often described as a woman's game, with all the implication of the term woman's drink. What is bro even talking about?
What?
Gonna play Defender, bro. It's a war game. Your ship can go left and right.
Yeah. That's way more hardcore. It's limited compared to Pac-Man, who can go up and down as well.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it would be really. I think you do need to keep going back. So I think Brawl is obviously going back to the mid 2000s. We need to see what Nintendo people were like in the mid 90s and in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Need to see what people
great...
really need to see what people like actually after the first Super Smash Brothers came out, because we've obviously seen after Brawl. I think it would be super, and we were around for post Smash 4. I mean, that's when Source Gaming started. Mm-hmm. I think it would be quite fun to look at internet reactions post Melee and then post the original Smash 64. Like, I wonder how many people would complain about Ness being in the game, and Jigglypuff, and people asking where Pit is, or Bowser, or stuff like that.
There were, man, like Pit. It's funny that in the West, and it's because people my age. I hate to once again sound old, but people who were like in high school when Smash 64 came out, right?
Yeah.
We grew up on the NES, so we were the ones going into Melee, and you see that because we were also the ones that were more active on the internet because we were just getting into college or we were in high school or whatever. And the internet, once again, wasn't as easily accessible.
Mm-hmm. The ice climbers, once they were revealed, people were like, "Oh, well, anything's on the table. Like you can go back further."
But we were, but I feel like we were asking at that point for Pit and for Little Mac. Like that's, and it's funny because that demand didn't manifest till like games later, where like, because obviously like Sakurai's methodology, he always looks back at the other games. Like, he just does. We've looked at, we've translated enough. There's enough interviews to know that. So it's funny that people asked for that at some point, but by the time they came into fruition, people were like, who the hell are these people? Because it had been so long.
This is like,
and it's like a different fan base.
Sakurai is also a boomer gamer. He is of your generation.
Shut up. Listen,
so, like, he grew up with the Famicom, so
hey, shut up.
He's putting his childhood games characters into the series.
Listen, he's not of my generation. He's of my older brother's generation. So
okay. Like, it does make me wonder if we do get a new director for the next Smash Brothers and it's someone much younger, what the chances are of a lot of these older characters getting in, like how it might shift to a stronger focus on newer IP instead.
As somebody who likes the Mother series, I have a really bad feeling the next game is not going to have any Mother characters for many reasons, including that shift to newer characters.
I don't know. I feel like the franchises that were in the original. I feel like not all of the characters, but I think all of the franchises from the original Smash Brothers will never.
I feel like
that's how I feel.
That's fair. I feel like if somebody else is going to be working on it, that is the one series they would cut is Mother, but like easily.
I feel like
it's definitely the easiest to cut. But
Mother and F-Zero in particular are ones that. I know that we just had F-Zero 99 or whatever. I know Mother's
at least
more
there's
of a
that for
completed
F-Zero.
series. It's more of a completed series. But I feel like people know both of those franchises more from Smash than anything. And I feel like I feel like that's the thing. Like, they're almost like Smash characters first in a lot of people's minds. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Not like if you cut Jigglypuff. You know, like I feel like Jigglypuff out of the original is the one that's going to go first. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And Jigglypuff was almost cut.
Yeah, almost cut like twice. Like, I think with Earthbound as well. I think it's always a much bigger deal when an Earthbound game comes to consoles. Like, they made a big deal of Earthbound Zero being finally brought over as Earthbound Beginnings. When Earthbound first got added to Wii U, it was a big deal. Mother 3 being added this year.
There's definitely still like a reverence towards the series, I think. Yeah,
and I think a big part of that is like Hobonichi and Shigesato Itoi riding off of the 3 games forever.
Yeah, that's true.
The events, the pop-up stuff. You compare that to like F-Zero, where like the main guy pushing F-Zero, Imamura-san, like left the company, and now like who at Nintendo is really pushing F-Zero anymore? Like we did get F-Zero 99 at least, but that's like the first new game in forever. And if anyone is considered a Smash Brothers character, it's absolutely Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Like, at least
it's like Star Fox too.
Ness has moves in Smash Brothers that he doesn't have in his original game.
Yeah.
But Captain Falcon is like entirely made up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, at least Ness is a sort of vaguely excusable.
I feel like Captain Falcon almost definitely was just taking a lot of the Dragon King fighting styles and just putting them into a character.
Yeah, he fits the build, so
he fits the build, and I think it fits that. It fits the feel of the game, and I feel like that was important to Sakurai too. Is that he's a fast character, he's an explosive character, and that matches F-Zero. So taking that and then taking the build, I think it because I don't think he was like 1-to-1 with any character from Dragon King. I think he probably took the
because like the whole
moves.
The concept of special moves didn't come out until they came up with the idea of using licensed characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so like just the punching and kicking, that would be like, I think the Dragon King real characters were very, very basic.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're basically just the micro figures as 3D models.
They're the fighting Polygon team.
Yeah.
I brought up Star Fox a minute ago, and I just wanted to clarify what I meant by that, because I think Star Fox is a bigger IP. I think at the time, definitely, it was N64.
Yeah.
We just had Star Fox 64. I think Fox would probably remain in just based off of that, based off of being a very large legacy IP, bigger than most of those like legacy IPs that they don't necessarily always use. But at the same time, I feel like that moveset is such Smash staple that they would never get rid of Fox anyways, because like that's
Spaceys.
Yeah, exactly.
Spaceys.
Exactly. Yo, Source Gaming, how did you guys decide on your icons?
Yeah, do you mean
mine
like
was
the colors or the character? I guess we can just do both. I didn't know if they meant the avatars that we picked or the
I think the avatars were just chosen by each person.
Yeah. We just had different things. Mine was because I had a little blog about 8-bit gaming, and I needed a logo. So I'm all like, well, like Shumps are like the quintessential old arcade games. So I took the Galaga ship, and my ex at the time was pretty into graphic design. I'm like, can you take this and make it legally distinct from the Galaga ship? So, and it just kind of stuck, I guess. I dig it. I think when you do a lot of retro content, that like the little like super simple sprite like that it works. And even though I've moved on from that, like I said, it was my own personal blog where I'm talking about older games and things like that. I mean, that's still very much in my DNA. So that's mine, anyways.
I guess, Push, do you want to go next? We'll go left, right to left.
So the original, my original avatar on Smash boards was just Wario and Luma mashed together. And then, from that, it became, its own kind of character, I guess. And, I've just used it over the years. I don't design my... I can't draw for shit. So,
hey, Push, I have a question related to that. So your original avatar, was that something that somebody created for you, or is it like a piece of fan art you found online? Is there somebody
fan art I found?
So is there somebody that you kind of owe your whole identity to? You should have you ever reached out to them and been like, "Thanks, man."
I don't know who it is anymore. I'd have to try to find it, but yeah, I should definitely try to reach out to them.
Yeah, was it just someone on DeviantArt or something?
Yeah, because I remember it was I had a Smash Boards account for a while, and then I decided to get active again, and I just I need an avatar, and I was just what do I like? I like Mario, I like Wario, I'll just find something that kind of represents us too.
My avatar was Simon Belmont Bomberman for a while. I don't know where that came from. It was just cool because I like.
You like Simon Belmont?
Those are
Bomberman.
Things that I like. Yeah. Well, when you're picking a forum icon, you're not thinking it's going to represent you for anything else than being on a forum and talking to people.
Kody?
Oh, so my original icon from Source Gaming was it used to be me just wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And that's true to life. I have a Hawaiian shirt for almost every day of the week. Every day of the week plus some. So I really like Aloha shirts. So I wear them all the time. That's why my icon was like that.
And then for mine's got... So my original icon that I used on Source Gaming was the sit-up men from Mario Paint. If anyone's played Mario Paint, when it does the opening and it's do ha ha do Mario Paint, and there's a guy doing sit-ups and then they stand up. But I don't know why that was my original avatar anymore. That's just what I started with. But then I decided I wanted to have my own kind of icon, and I wanted it to be something about the Source, because if anyone who knows me from then, I was in uni at the time when I started Source Gaming, and I've got a bachelor's degree in history. So I was all about like research and stuff. So I wanted something that was like, oh, someone who would like go back to the source and find the origin of things and do research, which is why my guy has the little magnifying glass. But the character is actually based on is a very random pick. It's Ariwo Shitane Hakase from Wario Land 4. Also, I think now sort of known as Mad Science-Stein, which was what his name was in Wario Land 3 when he was a villain character. And also what he's known as in Dr. Mario 64. He's basically this old man who started off in For the Frogs, the Bell Tolls as someone who worked at... That was it, because he worked at For the Frogs, the Bell Tolled. And in that, he's a professor who works at the Institute of Nintendo. And Nintendo was what I was going by before I adopted Nintendex, which you can still see on my Twitter handle. Oh, that makes so much sense.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, so that was the original thing because I really liked the Frog, the Bells Toll. And then eventually that character goes on for the Frogs to start showing up in Wario Land for some reason. And in Wario Land 4, because he's also investigating the ruins with Wario, he has this like explorer outfit. This sort of very stereotypical explorer outfit. And I basically was just like, I'm going to take that, but I'm going to give myself a hat and bandana, and like the glasses that are, or the goggles that are on my character's hat are just based on his glasses. So it's the stereotypical twirly ones. And then gave myself a magnifying glass. I also actually do not remember who drew this avatar that I've been using this whole time. Like, it was... If they are still watching Source Gaming, please do reach out to me. Because it was in an old email. But someone just reached out to me. And said they were a big fan. And I think they might have seen me mentioning on Twitter that I wanted to, like, come up with my own avatar character. And so they reached out and offered to draw it if I had an idea. Because originally a friend of mine was going to draw the character. But we were struggling to sort of settle. I wanted to have something that was like more chibi. And my friend wasn't that great at drawing chibi characters. He's more of a mecha artist. And so like... this guy reached out, this fan of Source Gaming, and sort of offered to draw my character. So I sent him all of the sketches and blueprints that my friend had come up with based on what my initial idea was. And then he drew this for me. And like, this was so long ago now, and we only ever communicated via email, that I don't remember who it was anymore. I feel really bad about it.
It's R.
R?
Yeah, AR. I found it on your Twitter.
Oh, you did? Awesome. Oh man, what year was that? It must have been like 2017?
2016.
2016, damn.
I just sent it to you in the stream channel.
Alright, did I...
Voyager...
check if I... AR, but he doesn't have a Twitter account, so I don't know how to access him. If R is still watching, please reach out to me. Otherwise, I might see if I can find my old email or something and scour through it and see if I can find some way of connecting, because that's like... this is the one I use for Source Gaming the whole time. The one I use over on the Nintendo Chronicler was drawn by... oh, bollocks, why am I forgetting his name now? Oh, that's really bad of me. I'll remember that I'll remember it in a sec, and I'll post it in the YouTube. But yeah, yeah.
I want to say Voyager was the one also that updated my icon.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot. He's done a lot for all of us, but I should mention that he is the one that upgraded my icon, and he also created a character for me that I only use in my banner on Twitter and nothing else. But it's real good. It's real good, and I should start using it more. So, yeah, I put it in the stream channel. Can somebody throw it in the in the actual stream?
I'll upload it to the actual stream. Give me a sec. While I'm doing that, Liquid. So I know you in the icon I've got uploaded. I think it's just Silex, but you also have your own original avatar that's based around Silex, if I remember right.
Honestly, it's probably been such a long time since I've changed avatars to really remember. So, but like for all intents and purposes, like most of my time having an avatar on the site has just been Silex, and honestly, you know, I kind of feel very validated now that Metroid Prime 4 has finally been officially re-revealed. So,
yeah, because I think I've got the picture here. So this used to be Liquid's of non-Silex avatar, if I remember right. But now you use we still use Silex for the thing.
Honestly, I really should just get something more permanent, original. But I'm just going to keep this as it is, just for that sense of validation I got in June. Honestly, I've waited 18 years for this guy to come back. I'm just going to stick around with it a little longer.
Nice. This is the Spazzy bot that Voyager drew. You just sent over to me. Yeah, it's like a little it's like spaceship pilot.
Yeah, like obviously that's the guy that pilots the spaceship that that is me. If we ever create a indie game that is Source Gaming, it's me, man.
Yeah.
I should start using that as my, because I think it's got obviously I love the little spaceship, but I feel like it has more character and is less just like generic 8-bit
spaceship. As for my favorite article, the three I want to mention, the first one is the Chibi Robo history of Chibi Robo, because I feel like for that franchise, the trilogy of articles I've got that came out, I think after Ziplash did, is like the best resource for understanding how Chibi Robo got made. Like, I'm not slightly tooting my own horn on that, but like I think that's like the best collective piece of information on like how each Chibi Robo game came about, what happened to Skip through it, because it also like chronicles how Skip sort of started to fall apart to the point that by Ziplash was there and came out, it was basically a shell of its former self, and most of the key players had left. Like, it covers all. Even like during the investigation of that, because I had Push helping me out with translating a bunch of Japan-only interviews, we discovered that Chibi Robo rhythm game that they were making for the Nintendo DS, and I'm pretty sure we're still like the only website out there that has actually covered that rhythm game in any capacity. It was actually like a big thing recently, because I mentioned earlier that I spoke with the KoRobo guys, but the person who introduced me to these three actually brought up this Chibi Robo history article in my introduction to them, like, and told the creators themselves that I had like this big history deep dive into the series and stuff, and that's one of the reasons why he wanted to connect me with them. So like, which I didn't know until I was in front of them and it suddenly got brought up, and they asked me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, like
that's great.
I covered every game back from when it started at Bandai Namco, the cancelled rhythm game, all the way up to Ziplash. So I really like that. I kind of would be interested in making it into a video at some point, so it can get a bit more reach. Because I mean, it's not like anything's changed, so the script is already there. So I just need to put visuals to it, and then I can add a bit of KoRobo onto the end of it. But yeah, so that's one of them. The second article I wanted to bring up is it's not like one of the best ones I've ever written, but it was kind of just a fun one. It's the why stickers should come back in Super Smash Brothers, which is the article I wrote in like an hour, because whatever was planned for that day on Source Gaming, back when we were still releasing content daily, got pushed back, and we had
like,
nothing coming out.
and like that article did really well. Like
Yeah.
it got like so like it really outperformed like everything else that week. And I remember we were both just like, wait, why did that do so well?
Yeah, it's something I was just like, I need to think of a topic. Stickers. I like stickers in Brawl, and nobody else does. So I'm gonna soapbox about why they should come back. And I remember I was like sitting at my grandparents because I was on holiday, and I was just like, go into the other room, get on my laptop, just go quickly write this up and send it over to Push. But it's a good piece though. I still stand by it. Spirits are effectively the replacement for stickers anyway, and I think a lot of the arguments I made for why stickers should come back has been shown through spirits. Like, it's a great way of showing characters who don't have 3D models, older characters, ones who only have sprites and 2D artwork. Because it's also far less effort to add them into the game than it is for trophies and 3D models.
Yeah, I'm still on team. Spirits are a good idea. I just also miss trophies. I think you could still do a limited number of trophies just to have more descriptions, because I think that was one of the most fun things. But in general, I think spirits, stickers, good stuff.
Yeah, I think if they just had descriptions, I would be a-okay with spirits just taking over.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like some sort of alternative fusion, like cards or something. Like say you had like trading cards in the next game, and it was just 2D art on a card, but it had a description.
That's like actually an awesome idea, because you could even play mini games with them. They could come up with like some sort of like
like
card game.
It could be simple, like the Kid Icarus AR card game.
Yeah.
Like, you could do that with anything in Super Smash Bros. So yeah, like I think that would be a cool new thing if they wanted to have some sort of in between.
It's a really good idea, I think. Yeah.
And then the third one is just like the Mega Smash Pole stuff. I think like it's a really valuable resource. Like just free marketing for Nintendo. Free public
marketing data.
Marketing data, yeah. But I really enjoy doing those things, and I think we've gotten better with each one as they come along. To the point that, like, obviously the last one we did was the Mega Smash Pole Ultimate because Smash Brothers was over. But I'd kind of like to do these research things for non-Smash Brothers related stuff. So next year, I'll announce this now, even though it's a bit far off. But next year, when we have an idea of what the Switch 2 is and we know when it's going to be coming out, I think we're going to do some sort of equivalent to the Mega Smash Pole, but for Nintendo Switch, just in general. Like, we haven't decided exactly on what questions we're going to ask people yet, but it will be the same kind of insight, data-driven content all about the Switch, what games are the most popular ones for the Switch, when people bought the Switch, like, did you get it at launch, did you get it a few years in, did you get an OLED or a Switch Lite? How many people are subscribed to NSO, and how many of those subscriptions are through the data, like the family plan? Do you play any of the NSO games? Like the retro ones? Stuff like that, I think would be I think it would be really fascinating to have. It's going to be a lot of work, but if we plan it early enough, and I think the way we formatted these now has gotten a lot better. On the internal side, I still remember the not Mega Smash Pole Ultimate, but the one we did before that, where I completely botched the which characters do you want to see, and it made like sorting that list out a bloody nightmare. Like, I had to read through so much data to try and split apart stuff, and look through duplicates, because of course a lot of people don't read and then put the wrong thing in, and I have to discount those votes, and that just adds more time to everything. Yeah, I mean, Slink knows because they helped me with the last one. But overall, I think the content's great, and I think the results of every Mega Smash Pole have been awesome. So I want to do another one of those for Nintendo Switch later on. But yeah, those
like
are my articles. Sorry, go on, Push.
the top 20 characters of the Smash characters, Perception of Japanese DLC Redux is the article name.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at the top 20, like most of those characters got in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They did.
Like it was like I think this was like one of the only polls that had Bayonetta in it.
I'm still waiting for Arl, and I'm still waiting for Bandana Waddle.
I just talking about all of this just reminded me that in 2016, I wrote an article for Source Gaming called "The Case for Gex and Why Gex Should Be in Smash Brothers," and this predated all the Gex hype over the internet. We were maiming Gex years
Way
before. Yeah. Donkey and Scott and whoever.
Donkey, yeah.
yeah. Like that was our thing. And it's fine. I'm glad to share that with other people. That was ours. I just want to point that out. And it all started because of one of our Mega Smash polls where like Gex scored ridiculously high like in 2015. And I'm all like, why? I don't know. I'll write an article about it, I guess.
That is where all of the Gex memeing came from. That one internal joke that we just kept pushing. Because it's right. You remember back then, Gex had sold more than the Persona series. Never forget.
Yeah, it sold more than... I think Gex, and it's because it's multi-platform and the number of games, but sold more than the first two Banjo-Kazooie games. Anyways, enough Gex talk.
Yeah, if we're not doing anything for that Gex, if they don't put us on the short list for that Gex trilogy,
yeah, right?
We riot. But all right, so we've actually hit the 2-hour mark now, or pretty much close to, which is pretty neat, pretty good. And I didn't really.
I made most of that.
And yeah, we've gone through like our favorite articles, we've answered questions, so I guess like unless anyone has any other questions for us, because I know it's also like half midnight for you right now, Push.
Yeah, I'm about to pass out.
Yeah. So unless anyone has any other questions for us, I think the first of these 10th anniversary events we can start coming to an end. I'll give it a few minutes and just see. But and then I know for you guys in America, it's like early morning. I've got you up at the crack of dawn to chat on stream.
I'm serious about doing that Captain N tabletop RPG live stream at some point. Now that that's in my head, I'm like, that would be so much fun.
That sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does sound a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, that might actually be a really fun stream idea.
Now that I'm no longer an admin, I would love to open up a channel. I know we have so many different channels already in Source Gaming. Just for tabletop RPGs in general, I think that would be a cool channel.
Yeah, we can if you want to ask people in general, or post it in the Source Gaming channel first, and just like, because you should still be able to tag everyone and just ask if they want to, if people would be interested in a tabletop RPG. We can open one in the fun section. Like, that's what.
There's already a couple people in chat that were all like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Yeah.
Okay.
Blue Phoenix is asking. Blue Phoenix is asking, "What are your guilty pleasure games?"
Like a game that's bad.
Yeah. Do you mean like a game that's bad but I enjoy playing, or like a game I don't want anyone to know that I really like?
I already answered mine. It's Takeshi's Challenge.
Yeah, true.
What is an objectively bad game that I love? It's got to be some NES crap that I have nostalgia for. I have to think about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking like games that I grew up with that had nostalgia for. Like, is Chameleon Twist bad? I really like Chameleon Twist. I don't know how often that gets brought up anymore. I mean, true, Conker's Bad Fur Day is not as good as people remember it being, as someone who played it literally the other day. Although its multiplayer is actually kind of fun. depending on which multiplayer you play. But it's because it's got loads of multiplayer modes. But it's definitely a product of its time. Oh, you know what my guilty pleasure is? It's Geist. I love Geist, but it's not a good game. Sorry, Colin. Although it might be Colin's guilty pleasure as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, and it's difficult if I'm talking about NES games in particular, because like I feel like for a guilty pleasure, I should try. It should be. It's probably something more modern would fall into that. Because there's games like people are like Super Pitfall is the worst game. I'm like, it probably is, but like I sunk so many hours into that as a kid that sometimes I'll throw that like on my little Ambernick handheld or something and just f around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Back to the Future games for the NES too are also pretty bad, but like I like playing them. But like I feel like a guilty pleasure is a game you would be embarrassed like if we actually were embarrassed about playing Gex, but we are not because Gex is awesome.
Gex is great.
Because Gex is great, right?
Yeah.
Like what's a game that like I am embarrassed to be caught playing? And I don't know.
I don't know if it has to be a game that you're embarrassed to be caught playing, to be honest. I think it just has to be a game that's not very good. Or even just like horribly mediocre.
Yeah, it has to be something that's like something that you wouldn't really tell people that you play. It's kind of how I interpret it.
Yeah, like you're all like, I'm sorry, but my favorite game of all time is Shaq Fu, and it's like, well,
yeah.
Bubsy 3D.
Yeah, Bubsy 3D is definitely a guilty pleasure game. If there is someone out there who can actually stand Bubsy 3D.
Hey man, I think that first ukulele game is better than people gave it credit for. I'm gonna say that right now.
I mean,
it's not a guilty pleasure game.
Yeah, I think it's better than people. I preferred it to A Hat in Time, which I know is a controversial take, but
yeah, I'm gonna say that it's not quite as good as like a new Banjo-Kazooie, but I'm gonna say that if that came out exactly as is with worse graphics on the N64, it would be considered an all-time classic. It's not any worse. It's just it had some issues that were performance based, which actually I think is very true to 3D games that came out at that time period. So, it's really
part of the problem though for some people. Push. What about you? Do you have
Budokai is a good answer.
It's kind of hard to answer that, I think, because like I don't really know what's guilty pleasure for me. I have over 100 hours in Ring Fit Adventure, and like 50 hours in Pixel Lines, which was like came out on the Switch. It was ported from mobile. I think I got a review code from For Source Gaming, and like I don't know, there's just like things about the game that just got me hooked on it. But it's probably not very well known.
Yeah, that probably counts then. I'm trying to think if Hyrule Warriors counts. I know Warriors has like a really bad perception, but then I put like 400 hours into Hyrule Warriors 1. So
it's a game that you can like just turn off your brain and just play.
Exactly. It was a great cool down game at the end of the day.
Star Wars: The Old Republic was one for me, that MMORPG that everyone started hating after a while. I put a ludicrous number of hours into that game. Anyways, Liquid, go ahead. Sorry,
yep, you're the only one.
I'm rude.
I was thinking of what counted as a guilty pleasure, because my original answer was going to be like Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, the Game Boy Color port, which I know people hate because like screen crunch, but I put a lot of time into that game, like growing up. So it's the version of Mario 1 I'm most familiar with. Like, heresy, why couldn't be the All-Stars version or even the original version? Like, yeah, but you take what you can get. So I'm most familiar with that one. Mm-hmm. But it's still Mario 1 just with screen crunch. So like, depending on your interpretation, that's probably not so much a guilty pleasure. But then I thought, I have a better answer, and that's Wii Music.
Oh damn, that is a guilty pleasure.
Okay, yeah.
I actually realized what the guilty pleasure game is, and that is on the original Xbox, not the Xbox 360 version, Extreme Beach DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball.
Oh God.
I love that game, and it's not even for the fan service. It's because like it plays like Super Dodgeball for the NES. It's like such a simple Super Volleyball. It's just like a simple volleyball game, and it's just like and unlocking the costumes and stuff. Yeah, there we go. That is the definitive answer that I have for a guilty pleasure game is Xbox DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball.
What was the one for the GameCube? That one was really good.
They had a volleyball game.
A volleyball game or a DOA game?
It was just a volleyball game.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember a volleyball game for the GameCube.
Richard Moreno, who's my college roommate and somebody I went to high school with. Hey, Richard. Says, what about the opposite? Games everyone loves that you don't get why everyone likes. Ooh, that's a spicy one.
Was it Beach Spikers? Push? It's like
yes, I have done the water slide minigame. It is very funny, Shadow Link. God, that's such a good game. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Beach Spikers. Is that it? It's a volleyball game made by Sega.
I've played it in the arcade.
Okay. I've never
I'm
heard
gonna
of
say
it before.
that a game that everybody loves that you don't get why everyone likes. I'm gonna do the Source Gaming take on this, and it's not a game that I actually dislike. I think it's an okay game. I don't understand. I never understood why everybody loves The Last of Us as much as they do. Like, I feel like it's a good game, but it's super overrated. I feel like it works better as a TV show. I'm like, damn, that's a pretty good TV show because I don't have to play it. Because I feel like the actual gameplay is so of its time and kind of generic scavenging. It's a game that has you like trying to find lots of stuff in the world but doesn't let you backtrack. The actual like combat's like super whatever. Like I don't have to go off on that a lot. People I've spoken about it with Shadow Link, with Colin, about my feelings on The Last of Us. And like I said, I don't think it's bad. I just think that like it's an okay game with a better than average narrative that people hold up as a masterpiece where I'm like, I don't get it. I think it's not enough game.
I gotta head out, but honestly, that's what I would have answered as well. Like, yeah. I don't get why people like The Last of Us so much.
Yeah. I guess mine will probably be FNAF. Like, I've tried playing Five Nights at Freddy's, and I don't like it. And like the first one, I can kind of maybe see the appeal of it being sort of more strategy, but the further it's gone into the series, I think it's just like I don't get this now at all. It's just bad. I think I kind of had this for all the mascot horror games, to be honest. Even Garten of Banban, I just don't. That feels like it's more like a meme to enjoy that game than actually enjoying that game.
I think Push is about to leave. Do you have time to answer this one, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
I already answered.
Yeah.
Did you? Oh yeah, you did. Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess Kody, if you've got an answer for this, and then we can call it after this.
See you.
Yeah.
Gotta drop. Fun stream.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Good stream, Liquid. Good stream, Push. Have a good night, Push, as well.
Thank you.
See ya. Good night.
See ya.
Yeah. Sorry, I totally missed what the actual question was.
Oh, sorry. So the question is, what game that everyone loves but you just don't understand why?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that one's tough. I think I would probably say that it's got to be something like. I don't know, honestly.
It is a hard one, yeah.
I know a good one, actually. This is probably a controversial take. I really don't get the hype for Mario 64.
Oh, wow. That is a controversial take.
I don't really like 3D platformer games, and Mario 64 is one of the first ones that obviously is really testing the waters for a lot of new stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just I don't really jive with it at all. I don't get a lot of the hype for it, but I understand that it established a lot of genre first, so I can see why a lot of people appreciate it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get.
But
I mean,
yeah,
there are
I
people out
don't
there
like
who
it
have
as
the-
much.
I think I get it. I really like Mario 64, but that's the sort of games I grew up on. Like Banjo-Kazooie is like my
Right.
favorite 64 game, and Goemon, the first one, is very 3D.
Yeah,
3D
It's kind of like
platformers
you
in
had
feel
to
the
be-
general.
same way about Banjo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be there. You had to be there. I feel like that's the
I
feeling of Super Mario
understand.
64.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with it, so it makes sense why I don't feel exactly like that.
Yeah, it's like people who
Yeah,
like because I really like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and like there are people out there who really don't like
Yeah.
them, think they're bad games.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
I can kind of see what they mean, especially with Sonic Adventure 1. It can be a bit janky, but like it's still I still think it's a really good game and stand by it. So but like I can see
Yeah,
I can
I-
understand why.
I see
I think I
Nervian in the
kinda have
chat is
that
saying he feels the same way about Sunshine. Yeah, I also agree. I don't really like Sunshine either. Even though that was like the first game I ever one of the first games I ever played, I really did not like Sunshine, and I go back to it for nostalgia, but like I don't like it that much. I like newer 3D platformers that have refined a lot of stuff. Like Odyssey is such a good game. But like those
Yeah.
early ones, I can't do them.
I think Odyssey is objectively the best 3D Mario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It's just nostalgia and other things, but I feel like it's
Galaxy
Oh, somebody
is really
said Galaxy.
good, but
I
think
actually do
Odyssey
like
is
Galaxy
better.
also. Yeah.
Galaxy's pretty good too.
Yeah.
3D World is also really good. 3D World's
And
a
I
fun
think
game to play
Odyssey-
with people.
Yeah, I like 3D World.
Is
Mhm.
3D World's a little bit different from a regular 3D platformer because it's more
Yeah.
constrained. It feels
Yeah.
like a 2D 3D. What I think is fascinating about 3D World, and I've said this before, is that when I was a kid and I'm playing Super Mario World, and you ask me to envision what a 3D Mario game is, it's 3D World. It's not any of the other games
Yeah.
because those other games aren't really Mario games. They've gotten
Yeah.
closer to becoming Mario games, but it was just kind of throwing Mario into a new IP. Like literally like health bars and jumping and like triple jumps and punching, and like it was using Mario characters in a new IP. That's Mario 64. It's gotten closer to what the Super Mario games were by adding different power-ups and making enemy patterns closer. But like initially it's like its own thing really.
Yeah.
And 3D World is literally like what happens when you're like, let's take classic Mario gameplay and move it into the third dimension. And that's why I like it, but I don't consider it the same as 3D Mario platformers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that's just me. I think another good question, and I know we're about to get out here, though, are games that you wanted to like. Like there's so many games that like I remember Mirror's Edge. Like I'm like, oh man, this is such a great concept, 3D platforming. But then when I actually started playing it, I'm all like, oh no, 3D platforming in first person.
I guess for me, Dragalia Lost. Like I try and make it a habit of trying to play every Nintendo released game. Just for the channel for channel purposes, and also just because like Nintendo, most of the games they release I enjoy, but I could not get into Dragalia Lost. I tried several times. I tried when the Fire Emblem crossover was happening because I thought maybe Fire Emblem's presence in it would make me like the game more. I just couldn't do it. Just didn't find fun in it. It could be because it's on mobile, so I don't know.
Maybe this is going to be the spiciest take from anybody I think today, and then I'll let Cody go so that we don't end on this incredibly spicy take. Tears of the Kingdom. I love Breath of the Wild. I sunk so many hours into it, but I never even, and I need to give it another shot. I know it's that I need to give it another shot, but like I just hate all of the building mechanics in Tears of the Kingdom, so I never got past the first platform. I learned all of the stuff, and I'm all like, I want to play a Zelda game. I want to go out and explore and do stuff. I don't want to have to like be thinking about having to build this or stick this to that. Like it didn't jive with me. And it's funny because Echoes of Wisdom, I feel like when you do crazy stuff on a 2D, more of an isometric 2D plane, like I feel like that one is going to vibe with me a lot better. And I loved Breath of the Wild. It's just like the mechanics are a little too much for me. Like I got bored with them, and I felt like the UI. And the thing is, the UI isn't great. So when they have me do all this and the UI isn't great, it just I didn't care. I know I need to give it another shot, and I will eventually, probably soon, to be honest with you. But Tears of the Kingdom is a game that I was super excited for, and then put like 4 or 5 hours into it. I'm like, I don't feel like putting more time into this.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I don't
So,
know how
spicy
spicy of a take that is, given we have Slink in the group, who just
True.
doesn't like Tears of the Kingdom.
That's true, but at least like he also didn't like Breath of the Wild.
True.
Like it's not the
True.
open world aspect; it's the mechanics aspect that really got to me. So not to end on that, Cody, what's
Okay, yeah, mine is a pretty standard one, I think. I've heard this take before, at least. I really wanted to like Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. But oh man, that game it just kind of felt like a shell of the Mario and Luigi games. It was kind of unfortunate, but I'm really glad. I'm so excited to play the new one.
Yeah, the new one looks really good. I liked Paper Jam, but only for its combat. Like, it's got really solid.
Yeah, the combat
I think it has
was
the
cool.
best combat in the whole series.
That's true.
But everything else around it is pretty ass. There are some good lines some good scenes from Bowser and Peach in the game. But I do not want to find another Toad in my life, and the papercraft battles were awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think with that, we will finally actually call the end of this, the first event in the 10th anniversary week. So, thank you, Cody, for coming on and being nostalgic with us. If you want, why don't you let people know where the best place to find you is now?
Oh yeah. So my YouTube channel used to be my Mother Forever YouTube channel, where I used to post a lot of mainly mother-centered stuff. But now we're kind of branching out to cover a lot of indie RPGs in general, including the games that I'm going to make too. So that now you can find me on NokoGodo, that YouTube channel. So yep, find me over there.
Mm-hmm. And I'll post a link to that in the description later on today. And for the next on our anniversary thing, there should be a video coming out tomorrow. But the next stream is going to be on Thursday, and it's going to be the Rate That Character stream. So you'll start seeing that come up on Wednesday in terms of times and all of that. So look forward to that. And it is Thursday. No, Thursday. Wait, let me double check. The next stream is definitely Thursday. I'm trying to remember if it's Rate That Character or the Zelda one. I started this stream going over the schedule, but I've put it away now, and I have the memory of a goldfish, so it's just lost. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for being with us here for our 10th anniversary, hanging out in the chat. Okay, LCT is Friday. Thank you for the questions, thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you for supporting us, whether it's been for the entire 10 years or just for 1 year or even just for 1 week. We appreciate all the support we get, so thank you very much for that. And I'm going to put up on screen here our patrons. The $5 plus tier show up at the end of videos and appear on screen like this. So, extra special thanks to them. And right, with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of their Sunday. See you all later.
Hi, guys.
Thank you. See ya.